All right. Well, good afternoon. It is 5:30, and we are now officially in episode 21 of our GBO Bodcast. And yes, we are looking into the home stretch for the next, I would say, 6 weeks of our season. And there is some amazing stuff happening right now. We are very excited about it. And more importantly, it's something that we wanted to share with you. And we wanted to really just talk to some of our athletes, some of our hosts. People are going to be involved in the next two shows. We do have GBO Pro, and I might butcher this, so I'm sorry, Kristina, if I do. Is it Kristina Ferruzzi?
You got it, Kristina Ferruzzi.
Kristina Ferruzzi, and we do have our co-host, Mr. Todd Rogers, ODF himself, our Senior Director of Judges, also promoter and founder of The Legacy. I mean, you name it, he is it. So welcome to you, Mr. Todd Rogers.
What do you say, people? How you doing?
Well, I'll tell you what we're going to say. We're going to dig into some fun stuff that, we're going to take a little bit of a turn and really dig into Kristina and really how she got started, because we hear from a lot of veterans and we hear from people who have been doing this for years. They've been really, they know the sport, they know the organizations, the athletes. And one of the things that's really unique about Kristina is Kristina's fairly new to the game. So when did you really start getting interested in fitness and really the bodybuilding industry?
Sure. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to talk about it. And yeah, I am a newbie when it comes to the whole bodybuilding world. It wasn't until 2019, around March, that I reached out to my coach, to Britt Figures Coaching, to Helen and Letty, to get a real idea of what it takes to be a competitor. The idea was toyed around for a while. I had some friends that were competitors, and they've been doing it for four plus years, right? And they kept trying to get me on board, but I wasn't ready. So it wasn't until March of 2019, and my first show was Battle of Central Texas in October in Austin. First show, won my pro card there, was thrilled. It didn't really sink in, because I'm like, well, what does that even mean? What did I win? I didn't even know what I was doing 6 months ago. And then turning around and going into the NFF, the Alamo Showdown, and winning my pro at that organization as well. So it was kind of all at once. And it really didn't sink in, and I really didn't appreciate the moment until after the fact, until you're really understanding how long people take to get to that journey, to get to that ultimate goal. And I'm just thrilled. I'm thrilled to continue on.
Now, let me dig in with you, because you're not just someone who's in fitness. You're also a mother of three. Is that correct?
I am. I have 3 girls. They span all ages. I have a first grader, I have a 3rd grader, and then I have an 8th grader. And they're all at their own learning curves and learning abilities. And right now, with the whole virtual learning that's taken kind of a priority to anything else going on, it's been a real challenge to find that me time and to build that workout hour into my day. But I do. It's something that I need for myself and my own health and wellness. But I'm busy. Very busy, Matt.
Well, let's talk about busyness too, because I know, Todd, you talked a little bit about what she has going on. You're not only prepping right now. When is your next show?
October 24th. That'll be my pro debut show, and I couldn't be more thrilled.
Well, we're thrilled to have you, first of all. And you're 6 weeks out in one day. You have homeschooling for 3 girls. And by the way, what grades are they in right now?
So 8th grader, I have an 8th grader, 3rd grader, and then 1st grader.
So that's pretty stacked. And you're also starting a business. Todd, one of the things that you mentioned were businesses and balance. And so, Kristina, talk about your business and what you're about to launch and start, because I was very interested to hear when we were talking with Todd earlier, and he'll chime in here in just a second about it. What are some of the businesses that you're involved in?
Sure. Well, so I have my full-time job. My full-time career is working in the biotech industry, and that's been a career of mine for years. So that takes a lot of hours, a lot of time in the field, a lot of time away from the family. And it wasn't until Christmas time that I was Googling, I just wanted to be a part of something more, something that was innovative, something that was different. And this business venture just happened upon me. And it's called Hot Works. And I can't wait to bring it, or it's brought into San Antonio, but I can't wait to expand it further. And I'm working with my business partner, who's also a GBO competitor. And together we're going to bring 8 studios across San Antonio and the surrounding. And Hot Works is unique. So it's an innovative blending fusion, if you will, 3-dimensional training. So you incorporate the heat, you incorporate the infrared, and you incorporate the exercise into a full workout that can be done in as little as 15 minutes or 30. All virtually instructed, all done within a sauna that can accommodate up to 3 people. Really, really cool stuff. So many advantages to infrared. And I'm so excited to use it in my own fitness regimen as a bodybuilder, because it really does help in the muscle recovery and sleep, which we all need sleep. I know I need more sleep.
So
I literally just got out the bed.
that is truth too. We know that.
So, Kristina, I know I'm on a kind of a delay right now. So tell me, how do you balance all this? You have training as a professional athlete, 3 kids, and you also have a business owner. What are the keys to you actually being able to balance all this?
I have to have an agenda. I live by an agenda. I write it down. I visualize it. And I make sure that I factor in the important stuff in my life and prioritize it. So the kids, right? Got to make sure the kids are fed or are ready to go live in front of their own cameras for virtual school days, making sure that my appointments are set with my own company, talking to contractors every day, talking to architects, talking to engineers, talking to all kinds of different people that have to collectively come together and make my business idea come to life. It's a juggle, but you just do what you got to do. And one of the things that helped during COVID is I brought my own gym into my house, which has been a huge blessing, right? Collecting pieces online and purchasing and creating my own gym. And so I have no excuse. If the 5-year-old wants to come and play on the TRX straps while mom's working out, so be it, right? If the cat crawls under me while I'm doing a bridge, so be it. So there really is no reason to not have that time for you.
What do you want your kids to see? Because they haven't seen you in the fitness industry very long, but you've achieved success at a very in a quick fashion, so to speak. So very few people go to their first show and get their pro card, and then they go to another organization and get their pro card. So you're like a double pro in a very short amount of time. What do you want your girls to really model? And, just based on your success, what are you teaching them about life right now?
So my girls know that I'm a hard worker. I'm very competitive. And the minute I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Whether it looks good, whether it doesn't look good, whether I succeed, whether I fail, if I say I'm doing it, I'm doing it. And that's the motive that I want them to live by, whether it be in their own sports, volleyball, soccer, basketball. I just want them to try their best, right? You're given the play script, you're given the playbook, you have your fans, you have your coaches, you have everybody cheering you on to do the right thing. All you have to do is take that formula and work through it. And as long as you give it your all, I mean, you can attain anything. And so they know that because here I am, mom, who, according to my 5-year-old, Mom, you have the biggest muscles ever. And it's just really awesome to hear her think that way, or just see me in a healthy light. And I don't expect them to, have the same passion. Maybe they will. I like that they want to do conditioning and they want to work out with me, which is amazing. So I just want them to know that anything is possible. They can be little unicorns too.
Well, you do have some credentials behind you. Can you talk about Kristina's credentials? Because we talked about it before the show. What are some things about Kristina that a lot of people don't know, and how is she going to be involved with the legacy?
Well, basically, like I say, Kristina is an amazing athlete. Super, super amazing athlete. I was there for of course, for the Battle of Central Texas, which is a GBO natural event, a tested event, and she just killed it on stage, killed it. So I continued to watch her, and I went to her next show, and I saw her actually compete on that stage, and she killed it then too. So I was like, wow, she's really doing something. And I started talking to Helen, and Helen was sending me pictures and saying, hey, yeah, this is Christine. I was like, Christine, okay, okay, that's cool. And so Christina actually came to me, and me and her talked, and she was telling me about all the things that she had in the works and things of that nature. And I was like, cool, that sounds good. Like with Hot Works, and how she was going to put them all the way across San Antonio. And I was like, hey, you ever thought about promoting? She said, yeah, that'd be something that I really wanted to do. And so right now, me and Christina in the work of putting another GBO Natural show down in San Antonio, Texas. So hopefully in 2021, we'll have that kicked off and
I'm
ready to
so
go.
excited. It's
Bring
gonna
y'all
be
some
so
more
fun.
exciting shows from the GBO. Then, not only,
Y'all then.
not only that, she came to me and she said, "Well, Todd, I want to be a judge. Let's do some judging." And I gave her the test. She got the exam. I got the exam back pronto, and she killed the exam. She has a great eye. She's always active on our judging page. She's always doing things that just like going to the symposium. She was at the symposium right off the bat, very active in everything that we do with the Global Bodybuilding Organization. So Kristina is killing it with us in the GBO. She is killing it. And as you said, for the legacy, she'll actually be doing the commentating and hosting of this venue right here. She'll be our live host
So
on
exciting.
ODL Fitness Production Live, and she'll be bringing you the play-by-play critiques, the whole 9 yards, interviewing folks. We'll probably throw Mo in there with a couple of times and let them tag team on some of the folks that we're gonna have there, because basically we wanted to make it where you just wasn't actually sitting there watching Facebook Live, but you had someone actually telling you everything that was going on, keep you informed. And the person that first came to my mind was Kristina, because she is so on it. She is so on it. She knows the criteria. She's a judge. She knows the people. She knows what we're looking at. So she'll be able to inform you guys while you're watching the show on everything that's going on. So that's a real biggie. So we're excited to have her with the Legacy Classic this year in the 2020. So kudos to that.
I'm so excited too. And people ask all the time, what is it like to be a competitor backstage? What goes on back there? Like what does it look like? And so just speaking to different athletes and participants and, just understanding their journey and what they did to get there to that very moment, I think is amazing, because people always want to know, right? If we had there's so many like live stories that follow the housewives of, if they had something that just followed the bodybuilders at GBO, people be all over it because they already want to know. They're curious. I can't wait to just bring it live and show everybody what it really looks like on that day of competition.
So can we talk about what it's like backstage? Because I think that, you mentioned something, and there's a lot of competitors watching right now. I get the fortunate privilege of seeing the feed, and people want to know, what's it like backstage for Kristina or an athlete? What are some of the things that people would be interested to know that they might not know of what goes on backstage?
Sure. Backstage, you get in your head so much, and you have to take a breath, listen to headphones, listen to music, kind of just put yourself away from everybody for a while and just really talk to yourself, right? Pump yourself up, go through your routine in your head many times, because the minute you get out there, I mean, you could just black out in your head. Nobody knows that. You're shaking inside. They don't see that. They see a big old smile and confidence. But that's because you take so many hours to get to that point. And then there's the whole touch up. You're sweating because you're anxious and you're nervous. So it's like, is my tan running? And so then you have to go find your tanning to get all the touch-ups and make sure there's no streaks and weird mess. And then it's like, okay, does my makeup still on, or am I cakey? Am I melting? So then it's that whole touch-up piece. And it's, I mean, you feel like you're wearing 10,000 layers, but you look good on camera doing it, right?
Right.
And then there's that pump. You have to get that, you got to get the, you know, everything moving, the blood going, and you got to just be ready to present and show what you've worked for so long. So, and it's a long process. You know, as the beach body category, we're usually the ones that we're waiting for 10 hours before we're on stage. So we're constantly trying to just, okay, we got it. Just, it's cool. It's, you know, and then once they call your category, it's like, you don't want to miss it. You want to make sure you're lining up and you don't miss your spot. There's a lot of emotions that go into it, but it's so fun at the end of the day. Everybody in the GBO family is so friendly and so nice. We're all rooting for each other, really. You know, we're each other's biggest cheerleader. And that's the beauty of this organization, is that we are each other's biggest fans. You know, right now I see competitors in my same category that are competing in the same show, and I couldn't be more ecstatic to be alongside them. I just think that says a lot about who we are, is that we're for each other regardless of the outcome.
Right. Now you got a female perspective. Todd, when you competed, what were some of the things that you went through when you were backstage?
When I was backstage, back in the day, it wasn't nothing like that what Kristina just displayed. It wasn't no rooting for each other and all that kind of stuff. So the atmosphere that we're actually bringing to the global bodybuilding organization is way different than what we experienced as athletes back in my day, because we were pretty much cutthroat. We wasn't talking to each other, you know, we wasn't kikiing or hee-heeing or nothing like that. It was just straight up, let's go do it. You know, you had that your game face on and you got on stage and you did your thing and you went home. It wasn't no camaraderie. It wasn't a family feel to it. And what the Global Bodybuilding Organization has brought to it is a family feel to it, a more comfortable, because the bottom line is we do this to have fun. And if you're not having fun, then why you're doing it? You know, if every time you go to a show, you're all tensed up and nerved up and crazy for the wrong reasons. But when you get off stage, you got folks hugging you, they're happy for you, they're celebrating you, you know, that's a whole nother different experience. And so that's big for, you know, what me and Matt probably went through back in the day.
And, you know, I mean, we're not dating ourselves or anything, but, you know, I mean, it was different a few years ago. And let me say a few years ago, not today. And that's interesting because a lot of people don't experience that. When they come to GBO, they're like, oh, this is great. But I heard of people stealing suits. I heard of people, you know, taking gym bags and this and that. So, you know, they couldn't get their stuff. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And even my nutritionist, who's retired now, that's how old we are. He's like, yeah, just take a couple extra pair of shorts, because, you know, somebody sees where your bag is and they don't like you, they're taking it. I'm like, whoa, good to know. So we'll just leave that at that. But I'm glad that you brought that up, Todd and Kristina. It is something that we've worked really hard to change the culture backstage. And I think that it sounds like we're trying to do the right thing, and it sounds like it's working. So thank you for confirming exactly what we thought about GBO.
Yeah, and I've been so blessed to have an amazing coach, Coach Letty. She is not just a coach, but she is a friend and somebody that I can lean on. And she has been with me at every show. So not everybody gets their coach to be with them physically. And she's been with me physically from start to finish. And she says it like it is. She's real, she's authentic, and she's a GBO pro herself. So I want to take this time to just really, Letty, I love you. She's awesome.
And she loves you too, according to the Facebook post. So I'll just speak for her. Can you run us through a day in the life of a Kristina Ferruzzi in the morning, what time you get up, essentially? And it doesn't have to be too detailed, but we'd just like to know generally your time and routine for getting up, how many meals you eat, how often, maybe what time, how you take care of the girls and your business and prep at the same time, since you're now 6 weeks out. So can you run us through a typical day as it is?
Yeah. So we get up early. Kids have to be in front front of the computers at 7:45, right? So it's breakfast, it's waffles and eggs and something healthy for them. They're so into eating what I eat. So the idea of eggs and healthy stuff is not foreign to my kids. So I get them ready, right? Get them going. If there's a break, then I make sure that I'm either putting things away, making the beds, logging on my emails to see who I need to respond to that I didn't get to respond to the night before. Just kind of going through my business criteria in the day and checking off checklists, which is forever long, right? There's always something to do as far as the business. And then usually by that time, I hear a cry downstairs, or the kids are hungry, or somebody took a toy and threw it, or somebody's laptop isn't working anymore. So it's getting them back in order. And then by that time, it's like, okay, time to make lunch, or did I already have my morning snack? So, and I do set reminders to make sure that I'm getting my intake and my water and eating my 6 meals, and kind of just dispersing my macronutrients throughout the day, because that's important for me, right? For me to stay focused and energized, to be a good mom and to run a good business. So I got to make sure I'm taking care of that too. And then I try to get my, I do very little cardio on my plan. My plan is more about progressive overload and lifting, and focusing on, right now my focus is shoulders and glutes, right? And I've seen a lot of development over time. So every single workout, there's some kind of that involved. And then you throw in a little of the others. And that's about 6 days a week. So I'll work out for about an hour, 6 days a week, and then I'll take my rest day. I'll tell you that as an amateur, I didn't take a rest day because I had that fear of missing out mentality. Oh my, I don't want to take a rest day. What if somebody else isn't doing it? And I need to build that extra muscle. Now I know the importance of rest days. Take them, because I'll turn around and my PR just went up the next day, which is awesome. So it seems like lately my workouts haven't been till 6:30 in the evening. Usually I'm a morning workout person. I like getting it done in the day, but just with everything going on, and by the time the kids log off with their day, by the time I'm done closing up business, it's 5 o'clock. So, and that's when I can get it in. And then I probably get all my 10,000 steps in just in my house, constantly moving around between the different levels of the floor and making sure everything is done the way it needs to be. And, by the time I know it, it's like 9, 10 o'clock at night and I'm exhausted and I want to go to bed. So that's kind of where that is. I will say that I love, the idea of just helping others, not only in workforce and in growing the business, but I'm also starting to train people in our community. So that's really exciting too. We have a community gym here that I'll be training folks at. So I'm excited to deliver my passion to them whenever I find time. Whenever my kids are back in school. Fingers crossed next week.
That's the goal for all of us too. And sorry, if you have something, Todd, just jump in, let me know. I wanted to ask you, Kristina, about your parents, because from what I understand, you seem to have the opposite effect as far as really digging into fitness, because, I don't come from a fitness family, and it obviously attracted you to a different lifestyle. Tell us about, what kind of influence you want to have on your family who's maybe not in the fitness industry, not just your kids, but your parents.
Yeah. So I was always the clumsy girl growing up, right? I was really skinny. It was really hard to put on any weight. And if I did, I metabolized it right away. So I wasn't making any true gains until I joined the bodybuilding organization and really discovered that, you got to eat a lot, girl, to build muscle. So I've been fortunate to come from that end, right? Where I come in lean, I just have to really, really eat and really grow myself to achieve what I need to be for a competitor. On the contrary, my mom, she goes to the gym, right? She goes to the gym with me. She will, take dumbbells. She'll lift weights here and there. She'll do a little bit of this and that, but she spends so much time on the rowing machine or the treadmill, right? And she has a really hard time finding the right balance and what works for her. Now, she does have slower metabolism. It's harder for her to lose weight. And so just giving her some pearls that I've learned has helped her transform into healthy habits. And I see her doing sets in the gym that she didn't know how to do and didn't realize, they were working for her, because now I've been her coach and I've been able to help her maintain a healthier appearance and just healthy outlook on life, and without compromising things she likes. She has a sweet tooth, right? Her thing is, I can't get away from chocolate and ice cream and cakes and stuff. And it's like, well, look, there are ways to make things taste good. I have a sweet tooth too, but guess what? There are secrets and we have tricks, right? I can take a protein powder and make it taste like candy any day. It's really just knowing a lot of things about nutrition that, some people don't know. So I, hope to bring that to my community as well.
So my question is, because people right now are really upset that you're not doing cardio and you're a pro, and they're like, I'm on like 2 hours a day and I've got to get my fasted. So is it just, the secret is just to have 3 kids and then, you're just automatically getting your cardio in the house, or what?
It really is the science. And our nutritionist, Helen, is amazing, right? She tells us what to do and we're like, what do you mean we can't do cardio? And I'm not just talking about me, I'm talking about other people on our team that don't start in the 11 to 13 percentile essential fat categories. Some people start in the athletic, some people are above the athletic. And the secret is bodybuilding, right? We all know that bodybuilding in its conventional ways burn more calories than cardio. So you incorporate bodybuilding, not only are you building muscle, but you're burning calories, right? So it's like, why put more energy into that? Put more energy into that, and then use cardio as a supplement, right? And that's kind of the approach that we take as our team. And it's funny because we'll talk on our group messenger chat, and some of the girls and some of the guys are like, yeah, some of the friends ask us, how much cardio do you do to achieve your look? And they're like, well, we don't really do a lot of cardio. It's just part of our science, right? We're science-based nutrition. And Helen and Lefty have a plan that works like gold, and I'm thrilled. We don't go into competition depleted and deprived. I'm eating a steak and maybe a cheesecake the night before. Like, we go in fully energized, and not depleting ourselves. And I'm so grateful for that, because I don't know what it means to be fog brain the week of peak week. I'm energized that week, and I can't wait for show day. So it's a different approach, and everybody has their own approach to make things work for their team.
Jennifer Bevan, she's eating cookies just Todd, you're on a delay, and I don't mean to cut you off. So you had a question earlier. Do you remember what that was?
Yeah, I heard, I could hear Kristina, but you kind of come in a little statically there, Matt. But what were you asking?
What was your question earlier? I didn't mean to cut you off earlier.
Say it again. I couldn't hear you.
Kristina, do you want to ask him? Can you hear me?
No, I can hear you. What was your question, Todd? Did you have a question earlier? Can you hear me? I hope you can hear me.
Oh, okay. I can hear you, Kristina. Say it again.
So Matt cut you off. You had a question, or maybe you did not have a question. And what was that?
Oh, I didn't have a question, Matt. But what I do want to say is that all those things that Kristina was talking about, man, hey, that's real. That nutrition. And one thing about it, Helen is one of the best out there. So guys out there that's looking for nutrition in the San Antonio area, Helen is one of the best ones that you can actually go to.
She's amazing.
Some amazing athletes on stage. She's put a lot of turned a lot of pros here in the Global Bodybuilding Organization. Also over here in our in the naturals. So that's the person to go to. My question to Kristina. So that we have this, our community, our natural community in GBO Naturals. What do you feel about that community, and how does that impress you as far as the things that we do on that side? Not take nothing away from the non-tested side,
Yeah.
but some of the things that we do as far as how the community is built up and how we have it based.
Sure. We're always in communication, always, whether it be Messenger, through Facebook, Instagram, messengers through, any platform really. We all communicate with each other. We all bring cool ideas that aren't dismissed and that are really incorporated into the GBO organization. And I think it's great. We all have different backgrounds and perspectives, and you guys really pay attention and listen. And, if you think it's a cool idea, you're like, well, why not? Let's try it. Let's try to see if it works. And I think that's amazing. I have only great things to say about, since 2019, entering into the GBO organization. I'm so blessed to be a part of the judging staff, because now I see the real perspectives and the aesthetics behind what we're looking for from a full package perspective. And it's allowed me an area to grow. And I think for a lot of people, it's their platform to grow within an organization as well. They don't just want to, compete and be gone. They want to compete and stay and stick around, right? And do something that's bigger than themselves. And I'm blessed to have been able to give them the opportunity to do something more, whether it be the judging or, the live production at Legacy, which I'm excited about. So it's a family. It's a family unit. And I think these podcasts are great because oftentimes we don't know the background and the story of a competitor. And it's like, oh, I see you on Instagram. I like your pictures and you're cool, but it's like, who are you really? So this really allows us an opportunity to get to know each other and put, a personality with a face and just, a platform to be authentic and to talk about the journey. Everybody's journey is different, right? And so we want people to know that there's not one mold fits all. So we're all different people, and we come together to be a great organization. So I love it, Todd and Matt.
Well, that's why we chose you to head our live portion of Legacy, because, like I said, you're on it. You got it. I remember one time I was listening to one of your stories, and you were going off. I was like, oh yeah, that's the person we need, right? Kristina. You were on one of your stories, and I was like, okay, yeah, she can handle that. So yeah, that's amazing. I'm honored to have you on board.
And it's fun. It's fun to see all different competitors from different levels come to the shows. And I have friends that are coming in for the first time as competitors, and just trying to give them little bits of advice, like, it's going to be okay. Like, you will have dreams that you are going to forget your shoes, or you're going to forget your bikini, or you're going to forget something, right? The day of. It's real. We all have those nightmares. But have fun. Go along with it. Everybody is in the same boat. We all have those anxieties about show day. And it's just fun. It's fun to watch people come in and, feel the same way I do about the organization.
So here's my question to you. As you said all that, how long is a typical prep for you? The last few shows that you've done, when do you start? How far out?
So my first prep was the traditional 20 weeks, right? So when I was prepping for Battle of Central Texas, we were trying to build me up. So eating a lot, right? Calorie surplus, lots of calories. Kristina, stop running. I'm an avid runner. I've done marathons and 5Ks, 10Ks, you name it. And so when my coach said, you can't run because you're gonna waste all the muscle that we're trying to build on. So you need to cut that out. And I'm like, well, what do you mean I can't run? It makes me feel good. It's the endorphins. I love it. She's like, no. Whenever I prescribe you cardio, it's only going to be steady state. It's like, okay, whatever that means. So really it was like, you want me to eat, I'm going to get fat because now I can't do cardio. And she's like, no. So it's like, you're eating a surplus to build muscle mass. We're transforming your body to make you a competitor. And I really didn't understand and appreciate that until I went through the process. So that was my first 20 weeks. I followed everything to the T, followed all the rules. I weighed my food to the gram and to the ounce. Like, I did everything. It's like having that first baby, right? You don't break the rule book. I didn't break the rule book. I did everything I was supposed to and more, and it paid off nicely. So going into my pro debut and prepping for this upcoming show, my coach said, hey, you don't need 20 weeks. You only need 12 weeks. Because I'm already starting off at an ideal body fat percentage. I was still able to maintain a lot of muscle mass. And I had a really good off season or a growth season. And building the parts that needed to be built up to be competitive on the pro stage. So 12 weeks now.
Got it. So with that being asked, my second part of that question is, what does your 2021 look like for you? Ideally, if you could say, I want to compete blank amount of times, because you seem to be getting you're shorter and shorter in prep because you're staying more close to in season. It sounds like you don't even have an off season because you're still building muscle. So for you, what would 2021 look like? How many times on stage would you feel comfortable with, assuming they have, let's say 5 or 6 pro shows? And what would those be?
I don't plan on going on in 2021 because I need to rest, recover, and really use that year or 2 years to grow. I think a lot of times you'll see people hop to different shows and they don't really give themselves a break and a rest. It's important. It's important to take that year off. That's why GBO gives you 2 years to compete, because they want you to grow. Nobody wants to see the same person on stage again. It's not fun. It's not exciting. So I will take 2 years off to grow my body, to be more competitive, to beat me, because I'm only in competition with myself. But it's not like you're not going to see me. So I'm still going to be judging, and I'm still going to be a part of it. But I'm going to let myself grow. My hormones need to get back in a good normal state. And I will take that extended off.
We'll be promoting that show in San Antonio.
But I will promote. That's something that's also going to happen in 2021.
Well,
so a lot of behind the scenes and being out there and marketing is my plan for 2021.
That's what I wanted to really know, because James Mickles is watching, and I seem to call him out on almost every podcast, but he's very similar in thinking to you, which means you don't see him every year. You'll see him every other year. And that's because he makes the time to make the adjustments. And when he was on the show, he mentioned those things, and people are like, oh, you don't need that long. Well, as a natural athlete, you do need that long, and whatever you feel comfortable with. But more importantly, most athletes can't see past this year. And you already have that vision and plan, which tells me you're organized, you're on it, you know your body, you know your limits, and you want to do it the right way. So I think that's really where the true professionalism comes in. The difference between an amateur and a professional is very simple. A professional knows what they need to do, they listen, and they take advice from people who are more advanced and have the wisdom that most of us young folks wish we had when we were 20 or 21. So I love that thought, and I love that. So do you have, and I might be getting a little ahead of myself here, do you have like a date that you want to run this show in San Antonio, or am I getting a little ahead of myself?
We haven't talked about that yet. We'll talk about that, Todd. That's to be determined. No, but it'll be fun. I can't wait to collaborate and get things rolling, bring something here, work with my business partner to develop something here in town. So it's fun. It's something that she and I talk about often. She loves the organization as much as I do. So, and we're both.
One of the cool things is that you'll actually be able to shadow me for the rest of for the legacy and see the ins and outs of promoting. We'll also have Michael will be there, with his Genesee, GBO Genesee, which is next year in March. He'll be there. Cool. He'll be shadowing me and Sonny throughout the show and learning the ins and outs of promoting. Like I say, it's a lot of hard work. It's hard work, and as Matt can contest, it's not really about hey, I'm with this organization, I'm putting on a show. Hey, come do my show. No, it's hard work. You got to get out there. It's a lot of handshaking and baby kissing going on around this camp. So, it's work to be done. It's an art to it. Matt's pretty much mastered it. I applaud him all the time on the great work that he's doing over there with the Storm Classic and this show. And I also want to thank you, Matt, because you've been putting GBO Naturals down for the last several weeks here on the podcast, and we appreciate it, man, giving us that coverage and bringing a lot of more natural athletes into the game because, hey, we like to keep it natty, baby.
You like to keep it covered. We know that. And Kristina, you might like this too because Victor Barnwell has been on the he's been on the docket for a little
Hi,
bit.
Victor. He's my team. We're on the same team.
He's on the docket to be back on the podcast. So, you know, he asked me, and we're waiting for that spot to get him on and get that rolling. So, you guys have built something great in San Antonio, and with Helen and with Leffy, and you know, really, I absolutely love the fact that you guys are open. You know, a lot of times we don't really know what you feel comfortable or uncomfortable with, and you know, it's like, hey, look, fair game for everything. I'll tell you where I'm at, and I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'll tell you what I've done. And that's one of the things that I think people really understand and realize because you're not ashamed of it. You're proud of it. You'll own the things that maybe didn't go so well. Because I know we've all had mistakes and challenges. And you know, what's great about it is here's what I'm looking at right now. I'm shocked that you're so composed that, you know, everything, you have such a clear, crystal clear vision, you know, and I honestly don't know how you do it and keep it together. You look so put together that like, my kids are running around the house. I've got like stuff burning and you know, it's like one person has a chicken in a hand and like, you're like, I just see your cat running around in the back, chilling out.
I have my 8th grader hiding behind the camera laughing. And then my other 2 are with my mom. So I had to plan this out. Okay. It's not it's not perfect. Are you kidding me? In the day in the life of me, you would see my 5-year-old walking behind me naked or, you know, throwing whatever at her older sister. I mean, it's a zoo, but we work through our zoo.
Well, that's what I wanted to get at. I was going to ask you, did you tie them up and put them behind the camera you can't see, and then like, you know, put something over their mouth? But now you just told us the secret.
Oh yeah, no, I cannot do it without help. There's no way. I mean, I'm fortunate and blessed to have my parents 2 streets down. So, you know, if I want to kick the kids out, I'm like, yeah, go run away to grandma's house. I call my mom up, Mom, Gabby's running away. But she's going, like, can you meet her around the corner? So luckily, and they're both retired. So, and it's a blessing to have them. I couldn't have a career, a part-time passion, which is a full-time passion because when you're training, it's full on. And then building a career, building a business. I couldn't do all that without help. There's no way. And then manage a household. So I'm a real person like everybody else. It's hard.
That is true. You know what? I think that's a lot of the things that people see is that raw side where it's like, look, it's not always roses all the time, you know, and a lot of new competitors think, oh, well, I'm just going to follow this plan and go to the gym every day and then I'm going to get on stage. Well, it sounds simple in theory. But we don't see the curveballs that are thrown at us when we're so sore. We don't want to hit the alarm, you know, or we do want to hit the alarm and sleep more. But more importantly, with kids, there's always a variable. With jobs, there's always something that's going to go differently. And especially if you're running a business, you know how that is. It's all about full 100% accountability and responsibility. So
right. And it's easy when you're prepping for yourself, but when you're prepping for you and everybody else around you, it's tough, right? Because I got to make sure that I can use whatever I have portioned out for me and spice it up and make it, you know, nice and flavorful for them, right? Or I got to make sure that I'm not tempted to go into the ice cream at night or the candy jar. I mean, I've had those real temptations. I'm a real person. So there is so much mental discipline that goes into it. I mean, for me now, the working out part is not the hardest part. The hardest part is sticking to your nutritional guidelines, which are different for everybody. It's not one plan fits all. And the beauty of my team is that, you know, they really want you to understand your individual macros so that you can go out there and create your individual meals that are good for you. And I think that's something that's been a blessing because I don't get bored with it because I can have variety with what I eat in the mornings, lunches, and dinners. There's some weeks it is just easy to meal prep it, depending on how things look.
So here's my last question for you to wrap up. Do you ever let your kids eat off your plate while you're in prep?
No, I cannot. No, I'm just, no, I can't. I get so mad. I'm like, I weighed that out perfectly. Now I need an extra gram of protein, right? So, and then my oldest
Me,
daughter,
I
well, we don't even
I had
want
to
to
have
touch your
every
plate.
kernel of rice.
I need every gram of rice. Yeah, and
You're
if
like licking the
if
plate.
it's sticking to the bowl, I'm gonna peel it off the bowl and I'm gonna make sure I eat it. So.
You're welcome, Helen. So I knew that was going to be a question to make sure Helen was, you were following your meal plan. So Neil had kids. Todd, when you had kids, you probably, were like, nope, you're not getting that piece of rice. That is mine.
None.
Here you go.
Gosh.
None.
Todd,
Yeah.
last word.
Last word, Legacy Classic, September the 26th, 2.5. Well, tomorrow, 2 weeks. We're gonna have a hell of a lineup. We got some amazing pros out there, some great athletes, some great prizes, $8,000, $10,000 in prize money going out. They're gonna put on a show. For those who aren't really fortunate enough to actually have a ticket, we do have a live stream, which Kristina will be hosting, that you can actually purchase. Just DM us and we'll give you the details on it. But it's going to be a live show. I've been doing this for since 2015 as far as promoting, and I can tell you that my main thing was that if you didn't have a bodybuilding class on your stage, it's not bodybuilding. So I always push for bodybuilders on my stage. And let me tell you, since 2015, that's what I've been doing. But this class of men's bodybuilding that I'm bringing to you guys is going to be amazing. Well, we got cats from all over the country coming down here to put on the show and battle it out at the GBO Legacy Classic, and you don't want to miss it. I'm telling you, it is going to be off the chain. Some of the best in the country, some of the best in Texas, natural bodybuilders. So stay tuned. September 26th, Legacy Classic.
I do want to just piggyback on that before we say bye to Kristina, because you have worked all over the country as we've been talking throughout the last 3 or 4 months to find these amazing pros. And I think this is going to be a new dynamic that we've not seen in GBO, because this might be one of the larger natural bodybuilding classes and divisions that we have in classic and standard and everything, amateurs and pros alike.
It'll be the biggest, probably the biggest class you'll ever see or have seen since I started in natural bodybuilding. You're not gonna see a class like this in natural bodybuilding nowhere else in Texas. Nowhere.
Right. So you can basically get in touch with Todd for the pay-per-view, or I should say the live stream, and get with him on that, on how to buy it. Kristina, I just first of all, and I think Todd and I both can speak for this. We're just so fortunate to have you. We're very lucky, and we're very excited.
Yes.
You're a part of it.
Thank you. I'm so ecstatic to be here too. I was excited from the moment you guys said, be on this podcast.
Well,
I'm always telling Todd, what can I help you with? Like, just tell me what I can do. So thank you.
Yes.
Well, you also have brought up really good points, and I think and I go back and rewatch every single broadcast that we do, and I will actually take notes on it. And just some of the stuff you said was just kind of in passing, or nobody caught it. And it is so valuable for a new competitor, for a pro, for somebody who's never competed. You just hit so many different ends of the spectrum that, like, I hope people just didn't watch it to hear you. I hope they watched it to learn something.
Well, Matt, that's because it's raw. It's not diluted with Kristina. It's raw. That's raw information she's giving to you firsthand. You have these guys that's been doing it for a long time, and this is raw information that she's giving you, and it's valuable, very valuable.
And what I can't get over is how fast you absorb that information. And because, most people a year or two in, they don't have the kind of, wealth of knowledge that you have. So that I just appreciate you sharing that openly. And I can't wait to review it, but we're going to see.
Thank you.
Yes. So last word for you, Kristina.
I'm so looking forward to September. We're already in it. I feel like it's not even here, but it's like, oh, we're already here. I can't wait till the show. I know everybody is just, they've not that far away, right? Shows up until this point have been canceled and timelines have been changed, and the energy is just like kind of up and down, but now it's like this show is still here, right? Nothing's changed, nothing's canceled. So it's going to be awesome. It's going to be big, right? It's going to be exciting. It's going to pose different, I can't wait to interview people, just asking them how their workout routines through COVID changed or what they had to do to just maintain the momentum. So it'll be exciting. And thank you for letting me be a part of it.
Oh, you're welcome. We're very excited.
It's our honor, actually.
Yes. Oh, cool. One last word I wanted to say, and just I know that a lot of you heard Chris Cruz's message today. He did produce a live video. It's on Facebook, and he talked, with the hurricane being so devastating, unfortunately, they couldn't do anything in Louisiana. And, that was a very tough call for him. He was very excited, but yet I think he's, everybody's in agreement. He's handled that correctly. And he privately told the athletes first and then made the public announcement. A lot of them are moving into our show in October, at the end of October. We still do have those openings. And I know that, we had a Florida. It's still a hotbed out there too, and they're not having high schools be involved. So I will tell you, just on my show, we are changing the format to accommodate more of the athletes, to make sure that you guys have a stage to compete on. As you said, Kristina, there were cancellations that we had no control over. Todd and I made the decision we were going to run our shows, even if we had to do it on a farm, in a field, build a stage, and bring some lights. I mean, we were going to field the dream it if we had to. We were going to make this thing happen one way or another. And now we're getting into the home stretch, and we could not be more excited for these events. And we really want to, we just really want to thank a lot of the athletes for their patience, and also for their understanding as far as things that we're trying to do for you guys. We can't wait to see you guys back in person. The Zoom calls are great. The phone calls are great, but really just to give hugs. And yes, we give hugs. Sorry, I don't care if you have masks.
We give hugs.
Yeah. So, it's those things we just really look forward to. And we just really appreciate the support, especially with you guys watching, with the support that you guys are giving and telling other folks. I got to tell you, it's very exciting. Yes, Todd, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, yes, our audience, the people that are watching, the supporters, we appreciate you. Like I said, we cannot wait to see everyone, give our GBO hugs, GBO family love, so it's been a long time. And like Matt said, we've really been pushing for this. Sonny and I have worked our ass off to make this thing happen. People been telling us, oh, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Yeah, it's going to happen. I'm going to make sure it happens. Just like Matt said, if we had to go put it on the farm, we were going to put it on the farm. So that's my last word, Matt. We love you guys. Legacy Classic, September 26th, Odell Fitness Productions with Kristina. The deadline is on the 18th for amateur registration, pro registration, and for the actual live stream. So get it in while you can.
Good. Oh, and I do have an announcement, and it's not going to be about the Vegas show, believe it or not.
Ooh.
All right, so now I got everybody's attention. I just saw the scrolling go, ooh, what's that? So Todd is going to be filling in for a little bit as not only our guest host, but really our co-host, as Chris is getting everything done in Louisiana that he can. He needed to pay more attention to that. So you'll see Todd again next week. And, we're going to make that determination as far as, what works best and what fits. So we get to see that little rabbit. I like it. It's growing. I had to shave mine. Sorry, Kristina. I know we talk about facial hair on here too.
I know. I made sure I shaved too before I got on, so don't you worry.
Nice. Oh man. But there will be an announcement on probably Wednesday. Just for those of you guys who are interested to see where the venue is going to be in November 20th and 19th of 2021. We'll be broadcasting from the Las Vegas Strip just on my personal page. And I think just between you two, it's going to be a landmark. It's going to be a landmark thing. It's going to put that show on the map and really complement the Atlas well, and really the second half of the season, which I think a lot of roads are going to lead to that, and really be one of those things where most people are just going to go to watch to see exactly what it is as soon as we announce. So
exciting.
Yes, but Alethea, hello. She just joined us, Todd. So and then Marielle in Florida. We'll see you here in 6 weeks, guys. Thank you again. We will be picking right back up at 5:30 on Friday night. Kristina, thank you for the shares, and we will talk with you guys soon. Same time, same place.
Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.